thought, like everything we did earlier, was just an illusion. As humans. No, I used to lie to myself. Who are you lying to? I used to lie to myself. I used to pretend to like long debates. I used to pretend to like long lectures. Just to pretend that I could feel something. Just so I could feel alive. And so, I would listen to them when I was in the shower. I know. Really, really weird. And I used to listen to them anytime, anywhere. Why? Because I thought that was what smart people do. I thought that was literally, like, people you find interesting, right? And so, I started debating. I started doing things that, I don't know, just didn't make sense to me at that time. But who am I trying to deceive? I wasn't trying to deceive anybody. I was trying to deceive myself. I was being performative. I just wanted people to listen to me. I just wanted to be admired, to not stand out like a sore thumb in the society. And then one day, one fateful day, I just collapsed. I just collapsed on the floor, literally just lay down and I look up at the ceiling and this spinning ceiling fan, ceiling fan. I just felt the cool air hit my face and feel the cold floor. I wasn't really feeling anything in particular. I wasn't really feeling anything intense. I wasn't even numb. I was just there. But at that moment, doing something absolutely useless, purposeless, I felt so useless at the time. But it was so peaceful. It was really me. And so, I started talking to a vast genre of people. People that they might call trash, people that they call popular, homeless people, people that they call introverts, the label that society has put on them. I started talking to a bunch of them. I really, really heard them. I heard them for who they are. I listened because that's what makes me feel at ease. That's what makes me feel peace. And then, I learned. I didn't judge them. I embraced them. I loved them for who they are. I embraced them for who they are because that's what makes us human. So, if all the pieces that you get from growing up are the pieces that you want to show to the world, are they even truly yours? Is that originality? Is that individuality? Ask yourself that. So, when we were young, as humans, we are obsessed with originality. We were told from a young age that we have to find a deep, unique core within ourselves, and then we just make that our purpose in life, which is ridiculous. I'm going to tell you something. Pooh, you are not original. So what? You are not original at all. And then, sorry, that's my excuse. And then, we just completely and ardently become numb in the face of society. Essentially, humans are made of a big and vast scrapbook in their mind. We take pieces of others that we admire. We take the pieces of places that we go. We take the drama, we take the emotions, and then we paste them all together. Think about a child playing, right? A child, when they build a sandcastle, they don't just put it on a resume. They put it because they make it because they can destroy it. Something totally purposeless. And so, engaging with someone that you admire You take the pieces of themselves and then you put it with you like a piece of puzzles, right? And then, when a child is playing, they are pure unobserved creation. They do it entirely, not because of society, they do it entirely for an audience of one, themselves. They don't perform. They don't want to adhere. They're just them. They're just them. This is why people always tell you to find your inner child. This is why people always tell you to regain your sense of self. This is absolutely the reason why. And then, as we grow up, we don't have that scrapbook anymore. That scrapbook we scratch away. And then, suddenly, that beautiful, authentic scrapbook that we made for ourselves suddenly becomes a portfolio that we have to share to society, that we have to show like a resume. Everything has to make sense. Which is ridiculous. And then, the tragedy happens. Usually around the age of 5 or 6, we hit a developmental milestone. We suddenly realize that there is an audience watching us. Audience. And then, when we realize those audiences are born, our posture changes. Everything about us changes. We need to adhere, we need to, perform. Performative. And so, we just constantly lose ourselves, and then we have to rebuild and customize our own personality to fit into wherever we belong. And then, I want to introduce you to this man right here. That guy, Erving Goffman, a sociologist. He introduced the concept of front stage and backstage. The front stage is where we make sense. The front stage is where we act for people. The backstage, however, is where we drop the act, where we lay down, and where we can be ourselves, right? And then, we don't really need to do anything anymore at the backstage. Nowadays. People nowadays, they demand that our front stage be on at all times. We have to monetize our hobbies. We have to make money out of this, make something out of anything that we do. We have to invest in this, we have to do that, we have to do this. All to just make sense. All just so we can be perfect for society, for people to look at us. We have to have a return on every investment that we do. Next. I want to tell you something. This is really, okay. What is the way to get out of this? How do we reclaim our authenticity? The answer is being totally useless. Now I'm just kidding. It's the act of being useless. It's being purposelessness. Think about a child. They don't play just to perform for someone. They don't sing because everybody loves them to sing. They just sing because they can. Is that useless? For me, yes. Engaging in something totally purposeless is the ultimate rebellion to society. We don't have to adhere, we don't have to be perfect. We are just ourselves. True individuality isn't when you make sense, isn't when you perform. True individuality is when you True individuality is when you go and just do your thing. That sounds ridiculous, but it makes sense. Trust me, it does. It isn't found in the spotlight. True individuality is when you look at a massive scrapbook of humanity and then you paste them all together, not to show them off, not to sell them, but just because you can. Because you can show them off, whatever, I don't care. You are you. You don't have to perform for the front stage anymore. We lost that backstage when we were performing on front stage. So when you find yourself feeling guilty when the world judges you for doing something without a clear intention, without a clear purpose, just breathe. Let it go. You are not wasting your time. You are simply finding yourself for the first time again. And then you are useless. I heard that. Finding yourself for the first time again is, well, you don't have to perform anymore. In the absence of purpose, you don't disappear. You finally arrive. Right, thank you.